So
It is 1:20 in the
AM.
middle of the night, and it's all been worth it. A working Sunday and being up this late at night because we've seen a fine performance from the Indian team. And as we pointed out, I know a lot of our family members or our subscribers were very worried.
About a
Somebody
batting
pointed
collapse.
out a batting collapse. Somebody saw. I mean, again, it was not the easiest of total. It could have been a tricky total at
Yeah.
9 and over. But as we mentioned in the mid innings, that this Indian team, the kind of quality they have, I think this should have been an easy chase for them. And even though they had a few hiccups at the start, still easy peasy, as we said. Plenty of questions are going to be asked about Ruturaj Gaikwad, I
Yeah.
know, but we're still trying to confirm what the issue is. He's clearly, of course, it was one thing we can confirm. It's not a tactical
Yeah.
decision that was made, that because it's a smallish match and you need some big hitters, so they decided to go with Deepak Hooda as an opener. That's not the case.
Yeah.
So clearly either he's injured, somebody is asking whether he's COVID positive. We don't know.
We really don't know
for
that.
sure at this moment, but he wasn't available. I mean, the kind of things that we're hearing, it could possibly be a finger injury that he may have got.
But
while
again,
fielding.
we don't know anything for sure just
Yeah,
yet.
we're not confirming, but more could be a finger injury that he got while he was fielding. So that is the reason why possibly Ruturaj did not come out to bat, and definitely not tactical. And it wasn't a plan that, okay, because we want to finish the game fast, or maybe because it could be a tricky total, let's send Deepak Hooda. No, Deepak Hooda is not a natural opener.
And it showed because he really took a while to get going.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would actually appreciate that, because if again, I'm putting myself in Deepak Hooda's shoe, you're not going to get too many chances. He sat on the bench for that entire series. He gets a chance now and wouldn't have thought that he'll be opening. But then because Ruturaj gets injured, so gets pushed into opening. If I were him also, I would take my time, get set, and then play my shots. Exactly what he did. In fact, I love the way Hardik and Deepak Hooda played counter-attacking cricket. I mean, India lost a few wickets quickly, and then most teams could have said, okay, let's consolidate a bit, but they said no, especially when the spinner came on.
Yeah, I didn't understand. There was someone pointing out that what was the thinking behind throwing on off spinner to Hardik, who absolutely thrives against taking on any spinner.
Yeah.
It just made no sense as a
Beats me.
tactic. Yeah. There was
No, in
nothing.
fact, even when I saw that, I was like, off spinner,
Yes,
Hardik is
Hardik.
going to chew him up.
And that's
chew
what
him up.
happened.
And he did, it was a bizarre call. I guess they haven't done
That much
enough
research.
homework
Yeah.
on the Indian team. Maybe because of that. But yeah, pretty surprising you've done that, giving an off-spinner bowling, as Saurav was also pointing out. And then even Deepak Hooda, by the way. I mean, most Indian batsmen, right-handed batsmen,
Will
off-spinners.
take on off spinners with the eyes
do.
closed, and he was
Yes.
doing that once he was well set.
And there was another off-spinner in the, I was watching alongside England, New Zealand, Bracewell. He was bowling very well, turning it around.
And
but the
and
conditions
landing-
were very different.
Obviously, he was landing it on rough patches and
Yeah.
getting it to stay low.
Yeah.
So
That was a different game, different
Yeah.
situation, not here. GGK says, hope Sanju opens next as Ruturaj is injured. Well, that could happen.
could most likely be the like for like if Ruturaj is indeed injured. We don't know what the situation is there, but yeah, if indeed he's injured, then I think Sanju is the most sensible option.
Divyanshu Samal is saying Sanju fans are really annoying. Why do you say that? I mean, what he's trying to say is that you're already waiting for someone to be
Sanju-
injured.
Yeah, and Sanju to get that chance. Yeah.
Okay, Piyush is saying Ishan was trying to hit every ball. I know he could have taken his time, but I think what he may have realized that that's the kind of game that really suits him. And he did play a few good attacking strokes. But yeah, again, he is also fighting for that position. He's not guaranteed a spot.
He's not nowhere near guaranteed a spot.
But I think one very interesting aspect which we couldn't speak about earlier, and I think that is something that you really need to take note of, is the fact, and I know that when the team was announced, the designated wicketkeeper when the squad was announced was Dinesh Karthik, because it had wicketkeeper written in front of his name. Having said that, India had two options here because Rishabh Pant was the test squad. I was really looking forward to seeing who is that wicketkeeper that India go in with. They had both options because both Ishan and DK were part of the squad. Now, because DK was keeping the wickets, I think that makes it very, very interesting. I'll tell you, in the way when you're going to be looking at that World Cup team. And people see, again, we don't know whether Dinesh Karthik goes there or not, but the fact that he was keeping the wickets is now kind of telling you that he could be that backup wicket keeper that India is most likely to take. So even in that competition, whether Ishan is a backup opener or not, whether he goes or not, but if you're looking at that backup wicket keeper, I think now you can conclude by looking at what has happened today, the fact that DK was keeping the wickets ahead of Ishan Kishan, that he could be that backup wicket keeper, which is very important in the context of the team that goes to the World Cup.
True.
So interesting, Dinesh Karthik, backup wicket keeper. Also interesting on the other aspect, because as we said, that he's not been in the best of form. Rishabh Pant in the bat in T20, possibly DK if he continues his good form going forward in all the games. He could even be your number one wicket keeper.
It could
and
be a like-for-like replacement because batting position and keeping.
Yeah, now that he's keeping, he could be. So that was very interesting. One aspect that we must consider and look at that. Where is Sidvi? Abhishek is saying, and I also saw a lot of questions about where is Rahul. So Rahul is going to be on tomorrow. Sidvi is on leave. You gotta understand that on most days we might just have two people, as we've been having, because a lot of people are going on leave, and then this is the time the schools are off, so you can understand. Also, we've had a very busy IPL, so people are taking time out to
and a very busy upcoming month. In fact, today only I was sitting and making a compilation.
Yes,
July, August is packed. Because not just cricket, because there's also the Commonwealth coming up and everything. So, even once all of that is done, you'd have the Asia Cup, World Cups, 2 World Cups. So,
yeah. Which is why these are rare times on Sports Today where we're getting
a little quiet time, let's say.
And also 2 days off. You might be seeing, maybe we'll again be coming 6 days, 7 days a week.
Once, there's all tournaments going on.
As much as Shivam and Shane are almost choking at that thought, but that is what is going to be.
That's the reality of the situation, isn't it?
Okay, few questions we're going to take, right? Ikpreet is saying, Hooda making good use of this practice. Can Sanju open in the next match if Ritu doesn't play, or maybe Tripathi?
That's an interesting prospect.
I think again in that, again, you're going to look at, and I am a firm believer of who was waiting first, and if Hooda got his chance here because he was the one who was waiting first, then to be fair to Sanju Samson, he is ahead of Rahul Tripathi, because you remember he was part of the Sri Lankan series. Sanju Samson, he only came in at the last moment, but he was there, and so then it's only fair that he will come if Ruturaj is injured, and if his injury doesn't allow him to play the next game, then I think Sanju comes in for his place. The other question that we were getting was Ikpreet's question only, which was
Can all three, Pant, DK, Kishan, go to the World Cup?
They can.
If
in
you
the
take
squad.
Kishan, if you take Kishan as a pure batsman, as an opening.
Just to repeat the question, because they can't hear. Who asked that question? Alak Singh asked that, can all 3 wicket keepers in DK, Pant and Ishan Kishan go for the World Cup? Possible.
Yes.
Because 2 I think will go. I think Pant may not be your first choice now if DK continues this good form going forward, but there's no way that you're going to leave him. I think he'll be part of the squad. So because you will take 2 wicket keepers. Ishan Kishan could go in as a backup opener, possible. In which case all 3 go, quite possible. Too early to say now. There's plenty of cricket to be played from now till the World Cup. But too early to say. Okay, there is a question from Abhishek. They saying, why is Akshar Patel playing? We pointed out before the start of the match today, I was surprised that Akshar was there. In our ideal 11, I had not picked Akshar Patel. I thought that India will go in with another fast bowler and spinning duties will remain with Yuzi Chair. And if you need another spinner, there's Deepak Hooda.
Yeah.
But again, they played him.
And he didn't have the best of outings and all that.
Yeah. Nothing against Akshar, but I'm saying you have to pick teams based on the situation or the condition.
Yeah, he seems like they basically found someone who's as close as a like-for-like to Jadeja, and they're sticking with him
It
regardless.
was fair in the South Africa series.
Because I was being played in India, so you could use 2 proper spinning options.
Yeah.
Here, conditions don't really scream that you need a second spinner. Absolutely not.
Like Ikpreet is saying, Arshdeep is better than Akshar in these.
Absolutely,
I would have
absolutely.
agreed, Ikpreet.
Considering the kind of swing everyone else was getting. Yeah.
Kaushal Xerox, you've got a political comment, so I will not take it. Arman Sheikh is saying update on Rohit Sharma. Well, I can't give you an update right now. We're still waiting for his RT-PCR report to come. I know that a lot of people have been pointing out that there are other outlets that are reporting that Rohit Sharma could still be available for that test match to be played. Again, I highly doubt that. Those could be the noises that might come in from the team or the team management. They would be hopeful. But I see it as next to impossible a 4-day turnaround time. I don't know whether can you find a way to suggest, considering that if his RT-PCR report was to come positive. Yes, if it comes negative and it was a false positive,
then it's a different matter
yes,
altogether.
but I'm saying if it is going to come positive, which most likely happens because an antigen usually returns a positive RT-PCR. Other way, it could be a different result. So him recovering in 3 to 4 days to play a test match, I find it next to impossible.
Then Jasprit Bumrah may captaining.
Yeah.
We still don't know. Yes, he was the vice captain in the series before, and so Jasprit Bumrah may captain, but we don't know. Oh, you could go back to Virat Kohli. Tell him that it's not for all the time. You were the captain for the majority of series. Will you? Of course, they'll ask him, and I'm 100% sure. I have a gut feeling that Rahul Dravid will ask him that. That's another matter that Kohli might
says
say
yes or no. That's
he may say no, I don't want to. I've decided not to. Or he might say, okay, I don't want the captaincy back. I will not captain. But because I was captain for that series and this is only part of that series, let me just finish it. Maybe.
Just only one game.
Only one game. Yes, only one game. Pant is also an option. You can look at him because if you gave him white ball captaincy,
you could trust him with the red ball. as
red
well,
ball
in
is
theory.
a better player. And
Far better player.
Yes.
Yes.
So
So John Smith is asking, sir, how was Srinagar's fastest ball meter?
how was sure the fastest ball measured? Hawkeye or speed gun? No, it was a speed gun.
Speed gun, yeah.
At that time, it was a speed gun. I
don't think back then
it
Hawkeye
was
was-
to Trescothic, if I'm not mistaken. It was again, and it was a very innocuous delivery, as in it didn't seem like it was the fastest delivery till such time that it came
The
in
100 miles per hour ball,
161 odd kilometer. I remember it was against England. That much I remember. There was a question that I wanted to take here. Ketul Shah is saying, I think Harshal is ahead of Bhuvi. Ooh.
I doubt. Not with the way Bhuvi's bowling right now.
No, I wonder why you're thinking like that, Ketul. I just don't know. No chance.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense. Not
Yeah.
at this point.
Bhuvi is ahead of Harshal. Harshal brings another aspect to the game, and it's quite possible that both Bhuvi and Harshal play as well.
Quite possible. But yeah.
But I don't think that he's ahead of that. I'm seeing a lot of comments questioning Surya Kumar Yadav. I mean, like seriously, like he had got one duck.
One golden duck and suddenly everyone's turned against him. I mean, yeah,
Do you
not
know what
an
his
ideal return.
T20I record is or something? He's got a strike rate of something 170 at an average of 40 or something like that.
Yeah.
160 strike or something, some crazy numbers in T20. I'm not exactly sure. Nick Knight, that's
not-
correct, Suraj.
Yeah,
I mixed
we
one
mixed,
left arm
English
left-
opener with the other. Yes.
One left-handed English opener with the another. Yes, you're right. It was Nick Knight. That's correct. So, left-handed English opener. Huh? That's where we were both common. But yeah. Parvez is asking, so on the continuation, I wanted to talk about that, Bhuvi and everyone playing together. What is the pecking order of the Indian fast bowlers? What do you think?
See, I think we've been discussing this since IPL time. So I think if we're talking about what the pecking order is, if you're talking at the pacers, then I think Bumrah and Shami walk into that 11.
Bumrah is number one. Start with number one.
Yeah, Bumrah for sure. When fit, he's 100% walking into everyone's,
No, go ahead.
So Bumrah and this guy for me, Shami, of course. I think Bhuvi on current form, because for me it was between Bhuvaneshwar and Harshal based on who did what. Bhuvi's recent form has been outstanding, so I think you'll stick with him.
Yeah.
If you're going with three
I
pieces.
know a lot of people might again say that Shami T20, but I think he's a wicket taker. He's
And
not played any T20 for India in the last 1 year. I understand because you're saving him for Test cricket. Had a good IPL. He's a wicket taker with a new ball. You know that.
In the power plays, very effective bowler.
I am
very
going
effective
with
bowler.
him. So Shami, Bumrah, and Bhuvaneshwar, my
Will
three
be your
guys.
three options.
Yes.
As I said, I think the main fight was the third slot. Would it be Bhuvi? Would it be Harshal?
Yeah.
Bhuvneshwar has been much better, not much better, but better, let's say. Plus, he looked very, very good in these sort of conditions. Yeah, always.
So I'll go. Shout out to our good friend Chandresh. I'm not going to take his question. He knows why. So I hope you're doing well and you're back from your holiday in Singapore. I hope you had a good time. Hariharan Vishwanathan is saying, Hooda looks so comfortable in his skin, effortless batting with both pace and spin, unlike Shreyas who struggles and dances to pace bowling. Hariharan, by the way, let me also take this opportunity to tell you, I told you so. When the India-South Africa series was happening, when the team was being selected for the first game, and that's why I kept harping on the fact that Hooda had to play because Hooda was playing for India even before the IPL, if you remember. He was part and he did well in all the opportunities that he got. Then he had a good IPL. But then when the series against India started, you went and got Dinesh Karthik into the team. I understand that Dinesh Karthik was batting at a different position. But because Hooda was batting in the top order doesn't make him a top order batsman necessarily. He's batted as a finisher. He came into the Indian team before the IPL as a finisher.
He's primarily, in fact, been that 5-6
Yes,
batsman.
he's a big hitter. He's the
always
guy who
been
finishes.
that.
Yes, but you didn't see. So you actually were unfair to Hooda. You were absolutely unfair to him. But I'm glad that maybe because, again, the thinking was that they may want to groom him as a top order batsman, having seen his good form as a top order batsman in the IPL, and they thought maybe DK is better suited for that. So fair enough. And what I like is that now when the chance came, as soon as the slot opened up, you have got him to play, and you did not do what some other managements have done before that. Oh, now you've suddenly got a Tripathi and a Sanju Samson, whatever. You get them and Hooda continues to sit. It used to happen, by the way, the Indian team. The management would do it before this. I'm sorry to say, but you got to call a spade a spade. This used to happen in Indian cricket. I'm glad it's not happening now. And Hooda, who's been doing well, got his chance there, and that's exactly why I'm saying that he was looking good before the IPL started, had a good IPL, is looking good even now.
True.
And today, not batting in familiar batting position.
Yeah, he definitely did not look that comfortable in the start, but he dug in, and then as the match went on, he's scoring his runs. So good on him.
That's sensible batting.
Exactly.
That is sensible batting. And I take your point about Shreyas that in terms of, again, if I was to forget numbers, I'm not looking at numbers or who's done what. But if you ask me who could be the more impactful batsman between Hooda and Shreyas, just looking at the way they've been batting and the kind of impact that they can have, looking at India as well as IPL performances, I may still pick Hooda. And let's not forget, there's an underrated aspect about him. He's a decent off spinner.
Yeah.
You may need off spinners because you are going to play Chahal for sure, who takes the ball away from the right handers. But when you need bowlers to bowl against a left hander, you would need an off spinner, and he gives you that option.
For sure.
I think he will definitely, if he continues this, he's going to be part of that squad. In fact, I had already thought that he will be part of the side. Somanshu Priyadarshi says, Nikhil sir, can Venkatesh Iyer open? He's waiting before Samsung. Very good point.
Good point, but I think they see him more as a lower order batsman.
Yes. So for that, again, just go back and analyze what was Venkatesh Iyer doing. So he had outstanding one half of the IPL, and you picked him up and got him to the Indian team. To start with, I think that was unfair because just based on half an IPL, you got him into the Indian team. You should have waited a bit longer. But I think at that time, the desperation to find a medium pace bowling all-rounder was so much that as soon as you saw someone, you said, okay, you know what, let's bring him in.
Let's remember UAE conditions, he did well, World Cup was in UAE, so they said, okay, no problem, let him continue that form.
And Hardik was not bowling that often, and you were maybe looking at him as just a batsman. So I understand at that time. Okay, so you made that mistake, but what I like about that is then you didn't discard him suddenly, which again, it would have been two wrongs.
Yeah.
They don't make a right. So you got him in, fair, as I said, may have been a bit early, but you did it. But now you're just being with him, even though he didn't have a great IPL, which is good. Otherwise, based on India performance, you bring someone in, take someone out. The other thing is, I'm sure someone had a word with him because Venkatesh Iyer, even in domestic cricket, even though he had a good IPL batting top of the order, but I think someone told him we need a finisher. He started batting in
Lower down the order.
Yes, in the middle order as a finisher for his domestic side. That means he was preparing himself for that. Now he comes into the team basis of that. And now, because an opening slot opens up, now you tell him again you go and open.
Not fair.
No,
Yeah.
not fair on him, not fair on the team. You'll just keep him confused. He wouldn't know what is expected out of him. He wouldn't know how to groom himself in terms of how to approach a game. All of that is going to become one big khichdi and it's not going to serve the purpose. So I think, no, don't look at him as an opener. I think how the Indian team looks at him is the backup for Hardik Pandya.
True.
And so let him be there and wait for a chance to open up there instead of just, putting him there.
Yeah,
Again.
plus, with Hardik, and I hate saying this, his injury record is always just...
Yeah.
So you might just end up seeing him, they say, okay, we want to rest Hardik for a bit. Fine, you have a ready-made replacement, as close to a replacement as possible. Someone who can bowl 2 overs, battle out on the order and hit you few.
Absolutely. Yep.
There's a lot of cricket, remember, a lot of cricket before the T20 World Cup still.
Yep. Okay, again, this is a question asked by a lot of you, so I'll take one of Sanskar Saxena and then continue with that. Sanskar saying, unfair to remove Umran after the first over. Sanskar, I don't think you joined us in the mid-inning show.
We said the exact same thing.
Yes, we said that. Then
Needed 2 overs.
Yeah, I needed. I think it was the first over. So much excitement. People wanted to watch him. We saw the scenes in our office itself.
Yeah.
Everyone was very excited. And okay, not the best over. And I think the figures became worse with that last ball 6 as well. But that's 1 over. And I know that Hardik bowled 2 overs himself. Again, I'm repeating myself. That first over, I understand the logic. Ball was swinging. Bhuvi did a good job, and then Hardik can swing the ball more so than, let's say, an Umran or even an Avesh. So he got himself great. But he should have got another over. Maybe Hardik didn't need to bowl that second over.
Yeah.
Umran could have been given. But again, I just hope, because, and I know that might happen. We saw that in South Africa, see no changes. So continue with the same team unless there's an injury. If Ruturaj is injured,
Then you bring in someone. Yeah.
and maybe next match Umran gets to bowl a bit more. So Dipanshu, I think that answers your question as well. Not too many changes.
I don't expect. I mean, if they're stuck with the same team of 5 matches against South Africa, they're not making a change to this team unless there's an injury.
Yeah, which could be for Ruturaj.
Ruturaj, yeah.
And so Sanju Samson comes in then.
Yeah, he would be the only choice.
Yeah. Rajneesh Jha, if Jimmy Anderson will not recover for Edgbaston, then how much will it impact India's chances? Well,
Always
I mean, it's a what can I answer? I mean, the answer is in the question.
Yeah, because if he's not playing, then oh my god, that's one half of that lethal duo just not there.
I mean, great.
Always India fans would love that.
Yep.
Not having to face Jimmy Anderson, sure.
Absolutely. In the words of MS Dhoni, nothing more to add. Divakar Prakash, thank you so much for your kind words. We are only here, we're just doing our job. And I tell you, forget, I don't see it as a job. I actually come here, and I'm sure I'm talking for the both of us, because we just love to talk about the game with you guys. And your questions actually is the one that keeps this discussion going. So,
And I mean, in all fairness, even if we were at home right now, what would we be doing?
talking about it. I would
At least be watching the match if nothing else.
no after this match,
Uh-huh.
all the gyan that I'm sharing here, I would be
Doing
sharing
it.
on the phone with my friends.
Exactly.
So I treat everyone who joins us as a good friend and part of the family. So yes. Malay is back. Malay, you had predicted a collapse for the Indian team. I remember. I don't forget.
And
Didn't happen,
at one point, it actually we were very worried once Surya went for a golden duck that could it be happening?
Yeah. Nahi yaar, big boy. I think.
No, but Bishnoi, how much does Bishnoi really risk then? He's a googly bowler.
Yeah, he'll be bowling googly. So no. Samarth is saying, what do you think of Hardik the bowler? I'm just glad that he's bowling, firstly.
Nah.
But nothing against Hardik the bowler. I think it's Hardik the batsman that is important to this team. He is so crucial for India that even if he was not bowling,
He would be there as a pure batsman.
yeah,
We saw that.
and I want him to be in form with the bat. That's all. That will do wonders to this Indian team. Once in a while, if he just bowls over, maybe it's needed.
couple,
Yeah, everyone's getting hammered. Maybe then it's fine. But otherwise, Hardik, the batsman, has to be firing. Shivam Singh, thank you so much for your love you've shared, but there is no question.
There's no question.
So you just sent a super chat. Suraj, thank you. Yeah, you are also the old vintage if you've been seeing me from 2003. So that means you're also an old fan. You have said that you've been watching me from 2003 on NDTV. That would be incorrect because in 2003 I was here, this organization. 2004 onwards I was with NDTV. Before that I was here. Okay, Sahil Bansal is saying, Nikhil, I'm just going to translate. He's written in Hindi. He says he's a Punjabi, so he can't type in English, but he can understand English, and he watches our show, and he says that our analysis is so good that lakhs and lakhs of people should be watching. He sends us good wishes. Thank you so much, Sahil, for your best wishes. But tell you what, we're language agnostic. We could take all sorts of languages. Even if you were to write in Punjabi, I would understand it because I speak Punjabi, so you can write it and I'll translate your question and we'll take that question. So let language not be a barrier. We only talk in English because it's an English channel.
Correct.
So we're catering to that audience. Acha, Varun Parvatani's question is, you guys keep saying Shami, but Nehraji reckons he will not find a place in the T20 team. What?
That's Nehraji's call.
Yes. And I respect Nehraji a lot.
Yeah.
He's a real great guy. He's a very good friend of mine and I really like him. And of course, he may have his reasons to say that. But again, we're just saying on the basis of what he offers. If I was an Indian selector or an Indian coach or an Indian captain, I would want Shami in my team.
10 out of 10.
Yep, I would want him. I'll go back, and this is the mistake India made in the 2019 World Cup. If you remember, he was not the starter.
Yeah, he didn't start matches, and then I think he got to play against Afghanistan. Took
Later,
a hat trick.
yes.
Took a hat trick, and then pretty much turned that game around because India were in danger of losing that match.
He
And
came in
that
much
was-
later.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
And that was the match which kind of, I think, re-established his white ball career. Because after that, I think 2015 World Cup, he kind of petered off in white ball cricket.
Yeah.
Stopped actually featuring much. But then, of course, that match comes and suddenly people realize, oh, he's a really good white ball bowler.
No, he is.
He is, absolutely.
His fitness is not the greatest, and let's be honest. We all know his love for biryani and good food. So
But to be fair, he actually really did get himself in very good shape after one point.
he did, but again, he's not the fittest guy around. He's not. I know that, and I think that is the reason why they don't play him in white ball because
As often,
because they know that. Listen, he is very important to us, and where do we need him the most? Test cricket. So
cricket.
let's save him for that. But when it's going to be a World Cup year,
always
when
seem to
that
bring him
white
back.
ball is going to be very important, or that tournament is important,
They bring
then
him
you're
back.
going to use him. And I think you will see him play a few games before that. So, how lucky are we? Guess who's joined us?
Oh, Babar Azam has joined.
Babar Azam is here. See.
Thanks, Babar.
Thanks, Babar, for joining us. I will answer your question. My answer to your question is that Rahul will be here tomorrow on our show, and then you can ask him as many questions as you want. So do join us tomorrow. Cricket Fever, what question is that? You're picking on the wrong question. Cricket Fever is asking, it's a one-word answer, is KL Rahul. How can Ishan Kishan be ahead of KL Rahul? He wants to know who
KL
between
Rahul's your
KL
vice
Rahul and
captain.
Ishan Kishan.
Rahul's your
Simple
vice
answer.
captain, easy answer.
Simon Abraham wants to know, by the way, Prasoon Gujar, thank you for your kind comments. It's because of you guys that we are, doing these shows and talking to you guys is what keeps us also thinking about cricket, keeps our mind racing and gets us to watch the game very closely because we know that you guys will come up with real smart questions, real smart inputs. So thank you for your love and for all the support that you guys, join us every day. So as Abhishek is saying, KL Rahul is not a certainty. Kishan is far better opener.
Yeah,
Abhishek,
based on what, 2 series?
yeah, Abhishek, if that happens,
Travesty.
I will send you a bat signed by your favorite cricketer. Okay, if If Ishan Kishan will go ahead of KL Rahul in the race.
Yeah,
Okay,
not
I will send it to you. Else, you send me, I'll send you the address, my office address. Send me when the team is announced for the World Cup and 1 kilogram of your favorite mithai. Send it to us, huh? Otherwise, I'll send you a signed bat. Shivam Singh says everyone is praising England, but I think New Zealand attack is sort of one-dimensional. Good point.
That's a very interesting point.
I'm not seeing Bairstow smashing Bumrah, Shami like this. Extra pace means. What are your thoughts?
Yes.
Shivam, very good point. I think I tend to agree, but I'll tell you what. There is fair enough. I think the New Zealand team right now is not the best. Even their batting is really not clicking. Other than
Daryl Mitchell.
Yeah, Daryl Mitchell is a form of his life. But their bowling is also not the greatest. True. Indian bowlers much better. Agreed. But I think the English approach has changed after Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes. I think they made a conscious decision to play Test cricket in a way which I find very exciting.
Yeah.
Now this can go two ways. Either they will just dominate Test cricket, or they'll have a lot of embarrassing defeats. By the way, it's a high risk approach. So, and don't forget, Test cricket has adopted this approach not just overnight. But why do most people play Test cricket in a different way? Because that's the tried and tested approach which has worked.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to change the template, so you're taking the risk. It can really turn out to be a master stroke, or it could really put you in a spot where it'll make you look foolish sometimes. Very foolish. So they're taking that risk. Good on them. I like it. I like people who innovate, take risks. So great on Brendan McCullum. Great on Ben Stokes, but it will backfire a lot of times. And when that happens, you will get a lot of brickbats. You will look very foolish, as I said. And the same media that is supporting you now, praising you now, will come after you. The same fans that are following you, loving you, will come after you. And I think that's when your real test is, do you stick to that approach, or do you say, no, let's go plan B? Because now we're, getting trolled left, right, and center. So that will be the true test. So with India, it could be either ways. Either one way will they come out all guns blazing, or the other would be they'd be left embarrassed. So I'd find that interesting.
Yeah, I think how they play against India will determine whether this is just a template that they're adopting against the
No,
Kiwis.
I think they'll use this template. But whether it pays off or not, I
is
don't
a different
know.
matter.
Yeah.
My God, because again, Shami Bumrah movie.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
I'd like to see that. In fact, that's where this template of the English team would be tested. And let's see. Yes, Saransh, can I help you?
Need you there.
You want me to do the voiceover?
Yeah.
Voiceover for the television package. But I cannot. There are 500 people with us. What do I say? Huh?
We'll be meeting them tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well for the match. So we can.
Can we skip this? Take it.
Sankalp Dwivedi wants to know, Pant in playing 11 in the World Cup.
Not a surety. That's what we were discussing. He's not really a surety because with DK's form and the fact that he's the designated keeper in the absence of Pant, and the fact that he slots into that same batting position. So it's not like a Kishan is of course a top order batsman you'd be doing tinkering. Karthik just slots into that spot. So he might not. He might just not be a guaranteed starter. In the squad, yes. Guaranteed starter, no.
There you go.
As of now,
yeah.
In the words of MS Dhoni.
Nothing more to add.
Nothing more to add. Kaushal wants to know, is Ruturaj injured? I mean, that's what we're getting to here. It could be a finger injury, but again we'll
know more.
Yeah, we're waiting for a confirmation. Shubham also is saying, please update about Rohit. We will as soon as we know, no matter what time it is, we'll go live.
Everything right now is speculative, source based. We don't really
went
know.
live at 5:30 a.m. today morning, so we'll go live whenever we get to know. Dhruv Devagiri saying Chandrakant Pandit for India coaching role. Why not, yeah?
I mean, it's 6 Ranji
But
trophies.
the point is that I'm very disappointed that in India, either they'll only look at foreign coaches, or if they look at Indian coaches, he has to be very high profile.
Some big name of repute.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Just why? I don't like that. I think Chandrakant Pandit has been outstanding with whichever team that he's done. We've done a video on the MP win in which Shane's first point is Chandrakant Pandit and his role.
Six Ranji trophies as a coach.
No 6 Ranji
Yes.
Ranji trophies is madness. And again,
And
this
if you're going
MP
to
team-
ignore, then that means you don't take your own domestic tournaments.
Seriously. And this is an MP team, as I was pointing out also, they're not, filled to the brim with superstars or, I don't know, they have some good, solid players. But the fact is, it takes a good level of coaching to take a team like that, have them go unbeaten, and win the trophy with a team, by the way, who've never won it before. Yes, they won it as Holkar, but we're not really going there, are we? So, I mean, I don't know. I think, and that does happen a lot with Indian coaches. Someone like Lalchan Rajput, was also kind of just discarded in some ways. So, I don't know. You could actually be giving more Indian coaches chances. Particularly the ones, again, like a Chandrakant Pandit, who's proved just how good he is, how astute he is at that level.
Yep, agreed. Cricket Fever says, will you guys be going to Australia to cover the T20 World Cup? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's the World Cup. We usually go and cover World Cup. So, good chance we'll be doing that. Amit is saying, do you think Bumrah is a good choice for captain for one of Tests? Why not?
Why not? I would love to see a fast bowler
Why do
captain
we
in India.
underrate bowlers? And also, you've not seen him to either say he should be or should not be. Let him do it and let's see. And they made him the vice captain. They had made him the vice captain.
So why not?
Exactly. Mr. Touch Me, I'm Famous is joining us from Russia. I would have liked it if you had your real name on, but he's joining us from Russia and he wants to say hello to you as well. I would have loved to have taken your real name, but you've not used that. So that's that. Okay. Why don't India have good left-arm fast bowlers? This is a question.
To be fair, I think, recent times you've had a bit of a dry spell, but right now I think there's more than a fair few. It's a case of, I think, grooming them maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you've got some. You've got Khalil, Natarajan, you've got Arshdeep.
Yeah. The likes of Mohsin, Yash Dayal.
Yeah.
Again, they're young. I'm not saying they should be playing for India now, but there is a pace battery
Then
there.
Sakaria came for very brief while, then you
yes,
discarded him.
Chetan Sakaria,
But, there was a time where you had both Nehraji and Zahir in the team.
As your lead pace bowlers, yes.
It's a question of timing, I think. It's not too much. A lot of people again are pointing out, like B. Kumar points out about a report that he's read, and a lot of you
On
pointed
Rohit,
about
yeah.
Rohit Sharma being available.
Again,
Indian
we'll wait
team.
for more details on that.
Yeah, you're saying that Indian team is confident that he will be available. Well, I can say that this
That
is
was
the
the
most
mildest COVID ever in that case.
this is the most obvious statement that usually would come out from most teams. So don't take it very I mean, if I was the team management and you asked me about it, then the obvious thing I'll say, no, we are very confident we'll make it.
Of course.
But let's be realistic, and I doubt that
1 day
that will
later,
happen.
2-3 days. Yeah, no, not happening. Let's see.
Sahil wants to know what your salary is, Shane.
Never mind.
Chetan, thank you for your kind comments. Green Room joins us from Kenya.
Lives near Odumbe.
Odimbe's house. Oh, that's lovely. Kenya is a beautiful country. I'll visit it someday. Anonymous is saying...
A big fan. Thank you.
So, but why are you anonymous? And why don't you write your name, guys? Someone is Touch Me Not and someone is...
Touch Me, I'm famous. Even better.
Harry Fantastico, I see you after a long time. Where have you been? Neeraj Shah is saying, why can't we have Kohli too?
So we've been discussing that a lot through the evening. Would be a nice, way of rounding off, let's say, finishing off that series.
Yep, I would want him. I think Rahul Dravid may have that conversation. If Rohit is not available, then maybe have a conversation with Virat. But I think, again, it'll be up to Virat. Does he want to take that? There was a question saying, how do I meet you guys live? Well, we'll try and do a meet and a greet. So let's see when that happens. That's how you can join us live. Send us a message on our Instagram handle, Sports Today Official, and then we'll try and connect. Sankalp Dwivedi. Okay, potential winners, for the World Cup as of now. If you know, very early, too tough.
Very early to actually.
We're
make
also
that
not
call.
seeing a lot of other countries. I mean, I haven't had the chance to see some other countries play T20 cricket because focusing so much on Indian cricket. So it'd be unfair. South Africa is a good team, by the way.
England too.
England is good. Pakistan's very good. Australia,
This series
the
will tell
defending.
about how much they
Yeah,
prepared
I
for the World
think,
Cup.
I think, by the way, also looking at performances, Australia went in with the worst form last World Cup. In the
that's
practice games, they didn't do well.
Exactly. And then what happened in the end?
Yeah, so. Kaushal, thank you for your kind comments. And on that note, I think
We can call it a night.
Yeah. Johan Deepak is saying how's Ireland's performance? Not bad actually.
You know, they actually put a pretty decent target up, on, and you know, they got a couple of wickets, early wickets, could have made some more inroads, but yeah, I think overall pretty good performance. They can actually be proud of themselves.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you, Baba.
Anam Fan is saying Indian coach should know English and be good with communication skills. Why? Why does he need to know English? Please tell me. Why should there be because I think he's talking about when we were saying Chandrakant Pandit for the coach, and why should an Indian coach know English? What is the qualification to know English, and what has that got to do with him being a good coach or not? Doesn't matter. Right. For all I know, if he doesn't know English, Hindi doesn't matter. You know, in football, sometimes you have coaches you get from various countries, and they're coaching teams
with translators.
With translators who don't know. So you sometimes have a Spanish-speaking Argentinian coach coaching in France when nobody knows other than French.
Yeah, they don't even speak
English.
English.
Exactly. So I think that's overrated. You can communicate through various other means. And by the way, if an Indian coach doesn't know English, that's okay. He needs to communicate with his players. And if he knows Hindi and all other players do, at least working knowledge, that's fine.
Exactly.
How does it matter?
This also reminds me from that.
And by the way, as Dhruv is pointing out, Chandrakant Pandit does speak English, so that's another thing. But I'm saying even if he was not to, that shouldn't be an issue at all.
Criteria,
Absolutely not. I'm then reminded of Kapil Dev. And you know, Indian captains, they were initially in those days very careful to have captains who could speak English, primarily because you had to do press conferences. Kapil Dev was made captain, and Kapil Dev very candidly says that his English wasn't great. He couldn't speak even 2 lines. He used to feel scared answering questions. But doesn't matter if he could speak English or not. He won you the World Cup, right?
Exactly.
Without not knowing English in England.
What else we here for?
Yes. So
We're here to win.
We're here to win the World Cup.
That shouldn't be a
Criteria. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, says because not every Indian player would know Hindi, as some players would be South. I just gave you an example of in football where coaches come. So you know, sometimes there's a coach, he only knows one language, let's say French, and in his team there are players, none of them know French. Someone half know only Spanish, half know only English, half know only whatever, some other
Italian
language or whatever. Yeah, but you find a way. It doesn't matter. And by the way, in today's India, again, I'm not pointing. There are players from the south as well who have working knowledge of Hindi, who understand. They may not speak. Give you an example: Dinesh Karthik, Ravichandran, Ashwin, so many of them. They all now communicate in Hindi, and that's not a. You don't need to know Hindi or whichever language they decide, whether English, Hindi. You don't have to give an exam to pass with distinction. You need working knowledge just so that you understand each other. And I'm sure that communication can be reached. So, no, that should
I don't
not
think that's
be.
a criteria.
Yes. On that note, because I've gone on ranting for a very long time, Varun Parvan then his last question. He says, I feel Pujara will bat at 3 considering that he batted at 3 even for his county. So that means Vihari opens or at number 6. No, Varun, I don't agree with you. I think Pujara will be the one who will open.
Alongside Gill.
Yes. And Vihari comes in at 3. Why are you disrupting Vihari's position? Last series that he played for India, he was batting at 3. And Cheteshwar Pujara wasn't part of the squad. You dropped him. You brought him now based on county performances. So he will then have to step up and open. And he's opened before.
Sure.
And so Vihari bats 3 and Iyer will be number 5, I think.
Although them disrupting Hanuma Vihari's position wouldn't be anything new.
Yeah.
They did it.
Yeah, they've done it. But again, that doesn't mean that, we've got to go on with them.
Exactly.
We have to justice for Hanuma Vihari.
Justice for Hanuma Vihari.
Campaign.
Absolutely. Poor guy has been shuffled up, down, dropped for no fault of his. So yeah, I think they should just stick with him in that one position.
Acha, now I'm going to take comments from Deepak Rajput, who's sent a very good comment, who's saying ki sir ab so jao, and Amit who's saying sir ab ghar jao. Too late now. Thank you so much for both
note,
Amit
and
Deepak.
Yes.
Because of you, we can finally wind up our session for the night. Thank you so much for your company. Don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today if you haven't already. Tomorrow is a new day. And we'll be back again. Good night to
guys.
everyone who joined us. I can see a lot of comments saying good night.
And
as
Vanakkam, yes.
Pete says, Vanakkam. Bye-bye.